Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today with an arena video update here as we've been comfortably staying in the top 10, guys, with pretty much the same team that we've had for months now. But I just wanted to give you guys an update in terms of how things have changed, and actually very similar matchups that we'll be going through in different gameplay styles here, guys. But first and foremost, I've been getting asked this question quite a bit, is that, which team do I actually use on defense? This is the most common one, guys, but what I've seen as well is usually depending on the opponents I'm up against, sometimes I switch my Apocalypse to, Odin, or you can also use Emma Frost. That typically is the matchup that you'll see also in Arena, as you can see here from the #1 spot here. So we'll go through some different gameplays in terms of battle matches, but I do want to point out, obviously it makes sense. You need to have the three-piece of Fantastic Four being Franklin Richards, Invisible Woman, and Mr. Fantastic. And then for me, because I do have Xavier, he's going to be part of my team. And then depending on the matchups, typically the fifth character is usually either Odin, or I also bring in Apocalypse to counter those Emma Frost matchups. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. Let me show you now in the gameplay of how we comfortably stay in the top 10, especially leading up into the reset when we can generate those power cores every day. Okay, so one of the more common defenses we go up against is actually teams using Quasar on defense. So we'll showcase here a quick round. Usually to counter this, I do bring in my Odin because he has a nice complementary heal for the team. And also when you have Odin, he has the assisted attacks and he can draw some damage away from the opposing side. So thankfully, we were able to start things with our Franklin Richards ultimate there. It doesn't always happen, but when it does make the matchup a lot easier. The enemy Franklin's going to mirror that same ultimate ability. It is what it is. We'll go ahead, we'll target the enemy Xavier. He is the priority. So using Sue's ultimate there to bring them all closer together, because when we get the first turn advantage, we're going to be able to use Xavier to actually shut down everyone with the debuffs here. So there's Sue Storm. Obviously, this opponent I'm up against, they have actually higher stats than myself. So that's why you might find the chance where when you're punching up, their enemies are actually wiping out a couple characters or two. But finally, we get the chance here now to use our Xavier to apply the ability block, blind, debuffs, and then you can see with the assisted attack, the enemy is able to help us finish off their Xavier. So this is kind of the best case scenario. It doesn't always happen, but it's from this likelihood, usually with this matchup, I win about 7 out of 10 times. So it's not as much of a coin flip as it is just knowing that this is a really good counter against this Quasar defense, which is why I don't typically see it too often now. The Quasar on defense is more rare, but if you do, go for it, because it's better than a coin flip, and there's a very good likelihood that you're going to win the matchup, especially if you have Odin providing that that special and that heal to complement the rest of the team. So that's a really good one there. Next matchup here, you can see on defense, we're up against an Emma Frost and an Apocalypse. So I really like how we can actually show some different gameplays here in terms of just in one recording. So anytime I see an Emma Frost matchup, we do actually bring in our Apocalypse because he actually prevents that speed from being manipulated. So kind of almost counteracts the Emma Frost. Now, even though they got the first turn, you'll see this is why we always choose to play the battle all the way through, because it's not really a coin flip as much. Even if we don't get the first turn, it really depends on how the assisted attacks and how Xavier lands a special and ultimate. And that's where that bit of luck does come in. But this is why I like this team, because there's still a chance no matter what. So we're doing the exact same thing as the first matchup. Obviously, we have to mirror the attacks. Go ahead and do that. And, both teams being silenced, it is a little bit detrimental on our end, especially since they had the first turn advantage. You can see really, really scary round right now, because you can see their Xavier canceling all ours. We're not really doing too much, right? It looks pretty bad right now. So, I mean, you could choose to cancel out, but this is why I always choose to continue the matchup, because you don't really know until the dust settles if this match is going to be decided, right? So we'll go ahead. Finally, our Apocalypse goes ahead and uses a special, provides a bit of a heal, but remember, because we have Apocalypse on the team, all of our attacks are basically, they can't be missed. So it still looks pretty bad, right? It doesn't really look like the odds are in favor, unfortunately. Always use Mr. Fantastic special here. It's a good one to take advantage of, just because of the fact that, yeah, it looks really, really bad, right, guys? So now our Xavier, it's basically down to the finish line, and you just go ahead and YOLO and use the ultimate there. And guess what? With his assisted attack, Mr. Fantastic, he was actually able to finish. So, like I said, the coin flip and everything was stacked against us, but this is why you always want to go to the very bitter end, because you never know how devastating our Xavier ultimate can be, as the damage can stack significantly. So boom, we actually got the W there, which is awesome to see. And then last but not least, let's go for the #1 spot here. And then this is probably one of the more common defenses that you'll be up against. And I usually still use the same kind of Odin counter here. So this is why I personally would recommend. And again, it's not set in stone. There's a couple ways you can do this. I think you can also bring in Emma Frost if you really want, but this is kind of just the matchup I usually go with in terms of just my success rate and probability. Okay, so Apocalypse defense. You know, because he kind of counteracts Emma Frost, which is why I wouldn't recommend it. I think Odin's a great counter for him because you can see the Apocalypse is not really being a factor here, right? Thankfully, we were able to start things off with the silence, so this worked really well for us. We'll go ahead now, mirror again, with the big ultimate, group them all together. And then that was actually able to even finish off their Apocalypse, so he couldn't really do much. I think the other thing that helps is my Apocalypse was brought up to gear tier 20 for the progression of global villains when I proceeded with Age of X, so that was really meaningful right there. But what I like about Odin now being on the offense is you didn't have to use the special. You could just use his basic attack for additional damage, which you can go ahead with, and then boom, just like that with the assisted attack from Xavier. The enemy Xavier was also taken care of, and when the Xavier is taken care of, it's basically game, right? He's always going to be kind of the X factor, pun intended there, in terms of just deciding the match. So yeah, 3 different matchups, guys, as you can see. But so far, when I use Odin on offense or comboing that up, obviously, with some certain synergies with Apocalypse, you can see that there is a really good success rate that we have. So that was 3 battles in a row without any losses in one recording. So that was really cool that we were able to work our way all the way from rank 4 to rank 1. So there you guys have it. This is how I usually strike through my arena time anyways, and usually I do all my battles within the last hour. So that typically gives me some good chances here to climb my way up, and that way ensuring that I have the top 10 500 power cores per day. So there you guys have it. Do let me know. Hopefully this helps you guys out in terms of just rising higher. And again, I realized that I have Xavier, but I'll link up my other arena videos where if you guys don't have Xavier, you can do some different synergies as well. Do let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.